A moment of silent elegance, a whisper of shared history, and a flash of royal emotion. That's what stunned the world when King Felipe VI of Spain and his mother, Queen Sofia, stepped into the public eye with an appearance so symbolic that it sent waves of emotion rippling through Spain and beyond. The usually reserved French outlet Paris Match didn't hold back, describing their reunion as symbolic, highlighting a moment of moving complicity and understated connection between a reigning monarch and the Queen Mother that, in just a few seconds, told the world more than words ever could. This was not just another royal photo op. This was a poignant message wrapped in a warm gesture and delivered with the grace of royalty who have seen it all: power, scandal, transition, and legacy. The cameras didn't miss it. Nor did the watchers, both fans and critics, who instantly felt the undercurrent of emotion carried in this brief but powerful appearance. A moving complicity with a touch of modesty before the photographers, those words from Paris Match said it all. And for once, the photographs weren't about regal posture or diplomatic purpose. They captured something far deeper: the silent language spoken between a son who now rules and a mother who once walked the world stage as the Queen of Spain. Their eyes met not just with affection but with history. Their smiles weren't choreographed. They were human, tender, and touched with a quiet gratitude that moved even the most skeptical of observers. Let's take a moment to unpack this rare display of intimacy in a world where royal expressions are often carefully calculated, where appearances are measured to the inch, and where emotional spontaneity is considered a risk. But not this time. King Felipe and Queen Sofia let the walls down just enough to show the beating heart of Spain's monarchy, and the world noticed. This event comes at a time when the Spanish royal family is still navigating the ripple effects of past controversies, including the exile of former King Juan Carlos I and the ongoing attempts to modernize the monarchy's image. And here comes Queen Sofia, a figure of elegance, resilience, and understated strength, standing beside her son not just as a mother, but as a stabilizing force, a symbol of continuity. She is the link between Spain's complex past and its evolving future, and this latest appearance reminded everyone just how important her presence remains in the current royal narrative. King Felipe, ever the diplomat, ever the restrained monarch, has often kept his public persona polished and precise. Yet in this moment, his body language betrayed a softer core, a man who, despite the burden of the crown, still draws strength from the woman who once wore it. The exchange wasn't dramatic. It didn't need to be. A subtle smile, a mutual glance, a shared pace, it was enough to ignite headlines and spark admiration. Spanish citizens, particularly those old enough to remember the early years of democracy after Franco, saw in this moment a reflection of their own national journey. It was deeply symbolic, a generational nod from the monarchy to its people that says, "We are still here. We still stand together." But this wasn't just a nostalgic tableau. It was also a strategic one, perhaps unintentionally so. In a climate where monarchies must fight for relevance, authenticity is a rare currency. And this moment had it in abundance. The modesty Paris Match mentioned wasn't an accident. It was the product of decades of royal experience, of knowing when to speak and when to let silence say everything. Queen Sofia, dressed in her signature style, timeless, dignified, yet never ostentatious, stood as an emblem of maternal poise. Her very presence said, "I am here not to overshadow, but to support." And Felipe, steady yet clearly moved, didn't hide it. Observers quickly noted how their dynamic defied the usual stiffness of royal protocols. There was no forced distance, no overly rehearsed gesture. Instead, what unfolded was something raw and real, a moment suspended in history. And while headlines are quick to pass, images like these linger. Social media exploded with commentary from fans across Europe, many expressing how touched they were to see the monarch and his mother display such visible unity. Comments poured in describing the scene as graceful, healing, necessary, and beautifully human. More than anything, this joint appearance served to refocus the public lens, not on drama or division, but on connection and continuity. In a world obsessed with scandal and fallouts, this quiet reunion was a masterclass in emotional resonance. The Spanish royal family, often cautious in its public messaging, didn't need a statement. The images were the message. And what a message it was. Let us also not forget the historical weight Queen Sofia carries. Born a Greek princess, she married into a Spain emerging from dictatorship, stood beside her husband through monumental transitions, and raised a son who would become a modern king. Her journey hasn't been without sacrifice. Her marriage was often shadowed by Juan Carlos's scandals. Yet through it all, Sofia remained steadfast, never stepping out of line, never chasing the spotlight, always dignified. And now, in the twilight of her public life, she stood in a moment that justified it all. The affection between mother and son in that brief moment seemed to say, "We made it through." And Felipe, who has had to carry the monarchy's burdens in an age of scrutiny, appears to deeply understand the symbolic power of his mother's support. His leadership has always been calm, measured, and often solitary. But here, he let the world see that even kings lean on someone. The monarchy isn't built on marble and crowns alone, it rests on relationships. This appearance, so gently powerful, reminded the world that the Spanish crown is not a relic, it's a living, breathing institution, deeply human and surprisingly emotional when it needs to be. What makes this story even more compelling is how it contrasts with the image of royals elsewhere, where internal conflict often overshadows unity, and where protocol sometimes crushes personality. In Felipe and Sofia's moment, Spain saw what many other monarchies struggle to show, a bond not tarnished by power, but strengthened by it. It was a message of resilience, not just for the monarchy, but for a country that has weathered much and still finds hope in symbols that stand tall. And so, as the photos continue to circulate, and as royal watchers dissect every detail, one truth remains: the simplest moments are sometimes the most powerful. No grand speeches, no announcements, just a look, a shared space, and a quiet understanding between two royal figures who have given their lives to their country in different ways. They reminded Spain, and the world, why royalty still matters. If this appearance was symbolic, as Paris Match described, then it was more than just a symbol of royal unity. It was a symbol of grace under pressure, of love that doesn't need to shout, and of legacy that continues with silent strength. In an era where spectacle often overshadows substance, King Felipe and Queen Sofia gave us a rare gift, a genuine moment. And for many Spaniards and fans around the globe, that was more than enough. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of royalty, drama, and the human stories behind the crown. What do you think this powerful reunion means for the future of Spain's royal family?